At Katowice, there are final exams for science in Cycle 1. However, teachers have a lot of flexibility in the selection of themes, the level of the exam, and even choice of questions. The science exams are given in 3 parts. First, there is the Competency 1 practical lab portion, which is worth 40% of a student's final exam mark. The second part is the Competency 2 theoretical situation, which is also worth 40% of a student's final exam mark. Finally, the essential knowledge portion is worth 20% of a student's final exam mark. In Block B final exam for this year, the experiments or activities in the C1 lab portion will be derived from the culminating activities students would have done during the year. In particular, the final experiments in mine cleanup and in ice mission. As mentioned before, the C1 practical portion will be worth 40%. You'll have a choice of 2 experiments or activities. Each comes in a regular or adapted version. You can see that the adapted version has less text. The questions and activities in the adapted version are easier or have some hints to assist students. To ensure fairness, the adapted version is worth a maximum of 80% compared to the regular exam. This option gives students who are struggling a better chance for success. There's a teacher guide available for each C1 option. Each guide also includes information and evaluation grids for the rest of the exam. The C2 theoretical portion of the exam is worth 40%. Again, you'll have the option of 2 situations. Each comes in a regular or adapted version. Within each option, there will be a selection of certain questions. You should select and instruct students which questions will be used for their exam. Again, the adapted version is worth a maximum of 80%. Each situation, both regular and adapted, have matching answer booklets. The essential knowledge portion of the exam is worth 20%. It also comes in a regular or adapted version. Within this portion of the final exam, you can choose 10 from 15 questions, each worth 2 points. The adapted version is worth a maximum of 80%. Again, there are matching answer keys for the regular and adapted essential knowledge exam. All the exams, answer keys, and guides can be found on the DB server. The student booklets and teacher guides have straightforward evaluation tools like those that you will find in the rest of the program. The practical C1 part of the exam and the theoretical C2 part of the exam have individual student marking grids. The essential knowledge part of the exam is marked out of 20 points, 10 questions, 2 points each. If you use the adapted essential knowledge exam, Mark the questions out of the 20 points, and then multiply by 0.8. In the teacher guide, you'll find class evaluation grid to calculate the summative final exam marks. The Cycle 1 science exams offer teachers a lot of flexibility. You can choose regular adapted versions of the exam for all 3 portions of the exam, or a mix of the versions. You can give the same version of the exam to all of your students, or you can differentiate the version for individual students to accommodate their specific strengths or limitations. The exams are already available on the DB server, so you have lots of opportunity to check them out and make your selection. Remember, the ponderation for the year is 20% for Term 1, 30% for Term 2, 30% for Term 3, and 20% for the final exam.